Ohio State as an 8 seed in a rampage of the Oregon Ducks, a 20-point win in the Rose Bowl. That's not the story to me, though. Let me take a couple pages back here. Because Ohio State did so because of one guy, and I want to illuminate just how important it is, the kind of things that Jeremiah Smith is doing. Around this time last year, right, I would say about late November, early December last year, Jeremiah Smith, who is looking like the most unstoppable player in college football right now, is playing high school football in South Florida. In fact, a team out here by the name of Cardinal Newman High School, which is, historically been good under Jack Daniels since he's taken over. He's a state championship winning head coach. That squad, when they were in their second round playoff game, again, just 370 or so odd days ago, when they were in their hopeful state championship run, second round of the high school football playoffs, they were beating up on a rival. And there was a moment that happened on the sideline there as I was standing next to one of the other reporters. This girl had, CK, this is a crazy thing. She drew up I guess she faked some kind of graphic that showed that Chaminade Madonna, who Cardinal Newman would have to face next, the high school state power out here that just won the state championship as well. She drew up a fake graphic that showed that Chaminade Madonna had actually lost their second round game. And then she showed it to a couple of the Newman players on the sideline who were damn near almost celebrating not just the win that they were about to have over Benjamin, but also they were celebrating the fact that they would not have to go up against that team, which was awkward as hell. Because 2 or 3 minutes later, the girl gave them the realization that she faked the graphic, and their heads went from joy and celebration to dropping them as low as that Oregon Ducks mascot head was following the loss in the Ohio State in the Rose Bowl.
The school like Chaminade Madonna, they're college players playing high school football at that moment.
Yes. One of those players on Chaminade Madonna, not only was he the best player in the state of Florida, not only was he the best player maybe in this eastern region, the most coveted, he was the number 1 overall recruit in all of high school football in the nation. Jeremiah Smith, a wide receiver who then was playing for Chaminade Madonna. They will go on to win the state championship, obviously. They do it a lot. But after that, he goes into his freshman year at Ohio State, which is known as wide receiver U. Think about all those greats that have come out of there just recently. Garrett Wilson, you think about, back in it, Michael Thomas, it feels like so long ago. Right now, you got Chris Olave, you got Jackson Smith and Jigba. The list goes on and on. Marvin Harrison Jr., who people start to forget about now because his rookie season wasn't, was kind of eclipsed by some of those other guys like Brian Thomas. Jeremiah Smith walks into Columbus, and he immediately becomes the best player in college football, the most unstoppable force in college football, especially when they go to him. Jeremiah Smith, wide receiver Jeremiah Smith, who last year this time had just wrapped up winning a high school football state championship, is the number 1 reason why number 8 Ohio State is the favorite now to win the college football playoff. They wrecked Oregon in the Orange Bowl, and because of his 7 catches, 187 yards, and 2 touchdowns, did most of his damage in the first half when Ohio State jumped out to that 34-point lead. That kid, fresh off the high school football gridiron in South Florida, has now transformed what it could be, what these Buckeyes could do this year in college football. I can't sit here with a clear conscience and pick any team against the Buckeyes. In fact, I looked ahead to see what the line was between Ohio State and Texas, CCAT.
Who's that?
The Buckeyes are favored by 6.5 points right now.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Smith is the reason for that. It's not Will Howard. It's not that defense. It's not the run game, even though Travion Henderson has looked a lot more electric than he did at the beginning of the year. Jeremiah Smith is an unsolvable problem for college football players right now, and I don't flirt with hyperbole a lot here on Theoretically Speaking, but it would be hard for me to see a world in which that doesn't immediately translate in the NFL, even if he were to leave next year. I know in college football you got to stay 2 more years. I've seen people talk about it and flirt with the idea. In fact, I think Todd McShay has gone on record multiple times saying, yeah, that kid, if he were to come out this year, forget Travis Hunter, forget Shedeur Sanders, forget Dylan Gabriel, forget anybody that you're thinking about coming out in this draft. He would be the number 1 overall pick. Jeremiah Smith, true freshman who just led Ohio State to a huge blowout victory.
Feels like at that specific level, high-end college football, the disparity between the greatest wide receiver in the country and an average or even a little bit above average secondary is a gap. Ooh. It's a game-breaking gap that you cannot game plan around if you're Oregon or if you're a lot of the schools that are going to have to play Ohio State before the end of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be absolutely petrified, and I would double-team the kid every single time. It doesn't feel like even that works. I was seeing the Julio Jones comps with Jeremiah Smith, that's one of the comps that is illegal. It's illegal to make a Julio Jones comp with college football and damn near even with the NFL. The kind of stuff that dude did as a freak athlete at that size with that amount of speed and the ball skills felt unparalleled, and it would feel just disingenuous to ever compare. But when you hear the way that people talk about him before they match up with the Buckeyes and then absolutely afterwards, I understand why. Here's Dan Lanning after the shellacking that was the Rose Bowl talking about trying to figure out a solution for number 4.
Yeah, he's strong. He attacks the ball in the air as well as any receiver I've seen. I mean, the guy's NFL ready. He's that talented. He's very special. And, Will Howard did a great job of getting the ball to him tonight. And he's tough to defend. He's physical. He's got all the tools. So, really talented player.
CCAT, Ohio State has a number 1 first-round grade on a wide receiver right now. They got a first-round grade on the current wide receiver who's going into the draft, and Emeka Egbuka, who also had a decent game, 5 catches, 72 yards, and 1 touchdown. Nobody's talking about him like that. They're talking about the freshman.
Yeah.
I think it's over. I absolutely think the 12-team playoff is over, and I don't think in years past Ohio State wouldn't even have a chance to compete for it because they were the 8th seed, because they lost to Michigan, which they had no business doing. But because of the 12-team playoff, because we opened up this door, Pandora's box, number 4 is going to run right through it. I don't see anybody solving him. What is his stat line for the year, by the way? Like Jeremiah Smith, who there's been times where they haven't really gone to him that heavily. 70 catches, 1,200 yards, 14 touchdowns. He's averaging 17.5 yards per catch. He's a true freshman. He was just playing high school football last year. So how the hell, first of all, it should have been illegal that he was playing high school football last year. That dude who college corners can't contain at all, I'm not even sure how they were able to stop. Shaman Abadana should have scored on every drive last year. And I think Ohio State might just score on every drive that they need to going forward. I don't see a solution for it, man. This is over. I'm done. Sorry about your Penn State Nittany Lions, by the way.
Hey, it's okay. If we make it, we as in Penn State makes it to the national championship game, I'm okay with that, with a loss to Ohio State, because we've never been able to prove that Penn State can beat Ohio State when it matters most. And right now, they are favorites to win the college football national championship for a reason.
Yeah.
They were a top 2 favorite before yesterday's game for a reason, despite having to play an extra round, despite looking awful, despite scoring, 16 points at home against Michigan. And then Ohio State answers like this with back-to-back wins over back-to-back explosive teams like Tennessee in dramatic fashion against Oregon, expelling a loss they had earlier in the season in historically dominant Rose Bowl fashion. Ohio State's scary.
They are just the second team in modern college football history to beat 3 top 10 teams by 20 or more points. Ohio State is a 2-loss squad, 2 of their losses, Oregon, and then, of course, the rivalry game at the end of the year to Michigan. I think it was actually 13-10, that game.
Oh.
If Jeremiah Smith gets anywhere under 10 targets in each of these next couple of games for Ohio State, Ryan Day and that offensive scheme and whoever the hell is getting things done out there, they're doing a terrible job. Give that guy 10 targets, you're going to win the football game. It feels that way right now, and I'm excited. I mean, I'm just excited to see also what he's able to do. The great thing about this is we have an amazing freshman class right now in college football. Like, he's not the only one that popped as a freshman. Ryan Williams with Alabama looks like a elite level talent, looks like a future NFL guy. DJ Lagway at Florida as a quarterback looks like that kind of guy. Isn't Sam Levitt, the Arizona State quarterback, he's like a redshirt freshman?
No, he is young. I don't know how young.
So, there's a lot of young dudes in college football that are really good right now. I do feel like that is going to bolster up the amount of interest in college football over these next couple of years, because these guys are